Showdown with Rance McGrew has what could be a fun and interesting idea behind it. There's a lot of solid talent both behind and in front of the camera for this one too, but outside of a few humorous moments, this quasi-western story is one big misfire. Actor Rance McGrew once again shows up late to the set of his self-titled mega-popular Old West-style television series. After giving his cast and crew yet another hard time throughout the shoot, he's suddenly transported to a more realistic version of the location he frequents on his TV show every week. There, the real Jesse James, who Rance was just misrepresenting on set, shows up to warn McGrew he and his friends from the Old West are tired of being made fools of by an exaggerated fictional character. James challenges the actor to a real shootout, which Rance repeatedly tries to get out of. But this is one situation he can't call in a stuntman for, as Jesse is determined to prove McGrew a fraud. When you see who was involved with this episode, one would think it had a pretty solid shot at being good. Christian Nibby had a noteworthy career as the credited director of the original 1951 version of The Thing from Another World, as well as numerous TV jobs, including Western series like Gunsmoke and Rawhide. He was also an Academy Award-nominated editor on titles like Red River and The Big Sleep. Funnily enough, Robert Cornthwaite, who starred in The Thing from Another World, re-teamed with Nibby here. He played the director of the Rance McGrew show, and was told that his character was crafted as a version of Nibby himself. The actor-director tandem would work together again a few more times. Larry Blyden returned to the Twilight Zone to lead this production as Rance McGrew. Blyden memorably played Rocky Valentine on one of my favorite episodes from Season 1, that being the Charles Beaumont written, John Brom directed classic A Nice Place to Visit. I thought he was both funny and a great reactor to the scenes around him in that installment. Here, Blyden provides a few laughs as McGrew, but ultimately feels forced in the role. The physical comedy he performs is hit and miss, and his delivery as a cocky actor turned scared wimp doesn't land the way I think they were hoping. Outside of Cornthwaite and maybe Bill McLean as the prop man, the only other notable actor was Arch Johnson as Jesse James.
They call me Jesse James. The real Jesse James.
He's fine, I suppose. Not that this episode was going for historical accuracy, which is hilarious because it's damning the Rance McGrew show for doing the same, but the actual Jesse James was supposedly only about 5 feet 6 inches tall. Not exactly the mountain of a man that Johnson portrays him as here. Although, maybe he's that big because they're in cowboy heaven? Admittedly, I was confused by all this on the rewatch. Originally, I thought Rance was transported back to the actual Old West. Then I thought it was a real version of his TV show. By the end, I guess we're left to assume this is some cowboy limbo where outlaws from the Old West visit? Or maybe Jesse constructed all this in McGrew's thoughts. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. This episode's script is its biggest problem. Rod wrote this teleplay based on an original idea from Frederick L. Fox. I can see the appeal of the concept if it was executed a different way. As is, it comes off as one of those comedies that's trying too hard to be funny and not hard enough on story or character. According to Mark Zickery's The Twilight Zone companion book, Serling liked Fox's idea but thought it lacked humor. He had always personally wondered about John Wayne in a similar situation. How would the Duke hold up in an actual war? Considering Serling's military service and Wayne being labeled as a draft dodger in World War II, Rod's thought process here makes sense. If this was just a shot at John Wayne or other tough-talking actors, though, I think it was too silly to really say anything of note, even from a comedic level. When the time comes for Rance and James to face off, McGrew drops to his knees, begging for his life. He says he'll do anything to stay alive. Jesse accepts his pleading and exclaims they've struck a bargain. As quickly as he left, Rance reappears on the set of his TV show where his agent has just arrived outside. When the actor meets with him, he sees that it's actually Jesse James in disguise. There to keep Rance honest and the show historically accurate. The outlaw instantly changes a scene where the actor playing Jesse James gets the one-up on the unbeatable fictional Marshall and wins the day. Rance also does his own stunt of being tossed out a window. As Jesse states, there are more changes to come. If I'm going to name a couple things I liked, there are indeed a couple chuckle-worthy moments involving Blyden. I loved Rod's on-screen narrator reveal, and this stunt of Rance being tossed through a window looks awesome. The stuntman even landed perfectly where the pole blocked his face. Unfortunately, these attributes are few and far between. There's a shot of a boom mic following Rance when he runs away from Jesse and the Cowboy Matrix. There also seems to be other production equipment caught in shadow within the same shot. If this was done intentionally, considering the TV show idea inside the episode, this might be a clever little visual. However, I don't think it is, and it represents this installment in a nutshell, trying to point the finger at prima donna actors and how they wouldn't stand a chance in the time period they portray, while failing at being self-aware enough to justify its own existence. Skip this one, folks. Other, more exciting showdowns occur at high noon, elsewhere in the Twilight Zone.